The Maestro.
That's it.
I know that.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
The Maestro.
The Maestro. Dirty.
Come on, y'all.
Really? I think that would be cool though. Why? The Maestro.
Shorts. Oh.
Let it go.
How about you hold it?
There's a lady in the waiting room. She got legs and one foot
Getting down with your boy.
Drop dead by.
Welcome to the shorts. Dirty shorts. Dirty shorts. Oh, mercy. Where's your boy? Me. We're going to build more on being a scheme system versatile player. Again, off the question from Mr. Renzo Bryant. Incredibly powerful question. I'm still jazzed about that because probably one of the best questions I've gotten so far. Not that other questions weren't good. I'm looking at you, Coach Pope. Get on my nerves. Just playing. Are you, Coach Skinny? Yeah, I blocked you again. Don't try to call me no more. Just playing. But this is one of the best questions that I've gotten. And it is definitely one that talks about the global need of development in basketball. And, I make fun of Coach Skinny, but I think what I've seen so far in my limited time here, he's one of the better coaches at developing talent on his bench. And this is sort of thing that's right in his wheelhouse. The other coaches do too. Don't start with the at me. Everybody here is good. Don't start with that, but you know what I mean. Now I'm going to start with number 2 from my list that I gave out in the last pod. So number 1 was develop flexibility in your game, handle, shot, passing, all those other things. Number 3 was be about the acts, not the stats. Number 2 is making yourself a 5-position player regardless of your physical attributes. I was a smaller player at 6'5", 6'6", who liked going in the post against 7-footers, 6'10", 7-footers. And despite their height advantage, there is one thing that I seem to always have, for the most part, that worked to my advantage. I would scout them to see what was their favorite go-to offensive move. I would see how they set up defensively regardless of who they were guarding, someone shorter or someone taller. And then I would develop my footwork around that. So when I would burst into the post with violence, I had already had the tactical advantage of knowing what they like to do, and I had already had a counter set up in place. If you're a smaller player playing in the post, if you're a larger player playing on the wing or in the front court, a larger player playing in the back court, you have to not only work smarter, you need work harder. And go back to that first principle of developing that flexibility. As a smaller player going down into the post, I would then make myself establish position and try to get that player that's larger than me to displace me. And by displacing me, now he's on the ref's radar. If he displaced me really physically, guess what? We now got an offensive foul or a defensive foul. Because the fact that they have to get so far out of their comfort zone because I'm not allowing them to get there, it services our team better. Now, what does this have to do with what we're talking about? With me as a smaller player going into the post, chumming up the works of their big person, our big person is now more free. And if I have a coach who like to do imbalanced schemes and imbalanced base principles, which I've been blessed enough to play for a coach like that, it gives us a decided advantage across the floor. Because if he could take, for instance, a player like myself, not one of the prime players, but someone who was a role player, and stick me in a position to cancel out one of their better players in the position, we now have a greater advantage. And you guys know I did not mind that. Maestro is all about the dirty, right? Let's get what we got to get. I would always go in the post with violence on my mind to be that dog, to make that big person work. Same thing as a guard. When I'm bringing the ball up at 6'6", oftentimes I'm bringing the ball up against a player who is shorter than me. So I would scout their defensive go-to moves. I would scout their tendencies. Which hand would they use to try to stop a pass? Did they always favor right or left? All those little basic things. And then I would develop my handle, develop my game to be the counter for that, to keep them off balance, to get them to reach. Boom, reach and foul. To get them to shift to a head fake or a pass fake. And then now, as their weight takes them one way, I do my first step the other way. Again, pass them. Doesn't mean I'm always going to go to the rim, even though you guys know I like that. But at least they're off balance enough now where now they're going to start guessing and prayerfully making bad decisions that we can now utilize to our advantage. This way, coach would reset our offensive system after a while, knowing that with me at 6'5" or 6'6", being guarded by someone who's 6 foot 6'1", he could invert our offense, stick me in the post, again, develop my post moves, and now I'm the bigger post guy against a person who might not be used to guarding someone in the post. Now this scheme works because we've done the work beforehand. And the more things like that you do, developing yourself as a 5-position player, the more serviceable you are to not only your team, but to the coach's mindset. And oh, by the way, do not be afraid to go to the coach and say, yo, coach, on our base principles, what holes do we have? What holes can I serve? How can I help to make us better? What can I do? And I won't say sacrifice because I just don't believe a player who's working for their team is sacrifice. And I just don't. You guys can convince me different because you're not getting the stats or whatever. That's fine. You can. And I won't argue with you. But I just do not see a player who makes sacrifices to be better, to make their team better. And those sacrifices, though they might not lead into stats, but lead into wins and maybe rings, I just don't see this as a bad thing. I don't. Holler at your boy. Tell me I'm wrong. It's all good. Don't worry about it. I will listen. Everyone knows I will listen. Tell me what else you want to hear about. Tell me what else you want to know about. I'm going to get some more on these other positions where we're talking about being a scheme and system versatile player to that really great question brought up by Renzo. And we're going to keep moving forward. Like the time when Sister Mary Hamilton came and woke us up at basketball camp. Like, oh, crap, 30 in the morning. She's banging on the door. We get outside. And she's got a bunch of shovels, a bunch of big bags. She's got like 20 library books. And I know that they were all overdue. And a sushi platter. And she says, okay, now before we get rid of the bodies, we got to...
Oh, wait, you want me to read?
Thank you for listening to the Maestro.
Thank you again for checking out the Maestro's Dirty.
Choice.
Drop a tag below and give us a piece of your mind. See you next time and...
Is it last call? Have you seen my glasses?
The Maestro. Dirty.
Choice.